What is up, guys? It is Lely and today we are here with what I think PES 2020 myClub needs to be a successful game mode. When I say successful game mode, that means the game not being dead beyond December. Because when I felt like December came around, I felt like there wasn't much more to do. To be honest, probably even thinking November. When I say successful game mode, I mean the fact that it's just a fun and just a mode you look forward to playing. No stress behind it. And I'll dive a bit more into that soon. And when I say successful game mode, when FIFA 19 is as poor as it is, the fact that you got people coming from FIFA 19, which I know personally, that have come over to PES 19, tried it and thought, this game is just too stressful. I'm worrying about, the team spirit because it takes so long to build, the contract tickets, and not contract tickets, but having to pay for contracts that they just cannot afford, and stuff like that. So they're more stressed about how to play the game than rather playing the game. So let's start off with the biggest issue for me, and that is how much of a grind this game is to play. And I'm not even talking about the gameplay, I'm talking everything that leads up to the gameplay. So you can see here, for example, I've got a Salah who's got Team Spirit 90 with this coach, and for me to boost that up, I either play with him as the main coach. This is my assistant coach, so I've got to now go over to his actual main one and play with him and build it up that way. But then he's got such a low level that I can't really fit Salah in that team, but that's another issue, that's a bit further down the line. Or I could use tactical trainers. Now, what's the issue with using tactical trainers? You can see I've only actually got 2 right now. I've just spent half a million, I was about to say 100,000. I've spent 500,000 GP, and this is the only way you can get tactical trainers. I've spent 500,000 GP on signing players through special agents, and they're the only ways you can get tactical trainers, as in actively go get them, and I only ended up getting 2. So what I'm trying to say is there needs to be a method for us to actually go and get these tactical trainers and other items like management skill boosts and special trainers for players to level up, any other like stamina cards, things like that. Anything that you think that you may apply to a player, we need to actually have control of getting them. So what my solution to that would be is, if you look here where it says myClub records and inbox, you add something else called myClub items, and then when you click on it, it'll come up with obviously something a lot fancier than this. I'm just going to put it in writing, but it'll say if you want to buy, just say 10 tactical trainers so you can help level up your players' team spirits, then spend 30,000 GP and you get 10 tactical trainers. Or if you want 50 of them, it costs you 100,000, something like that. You get my point. So if you just want one of them, it costs 5,000, and so on, without all these other items that you're about to see right now. So again, just that level of control would make this game a lot less grindy. People are like, just play with that manager and you'll build up his team spirit. But the problem with that is, if you've signed 5 or 6 managers that I've got at the club right now, it's going to be so hard to get all these players that I have built up to the team spirit that's needed to actually enjoy the game. So again, if you just add these simple little things, it just makes these, building up the team spirit so much quicker, less headache, more enjoyable, ready to go straight into the action, and people don't stress about these things. So again, that's why I feel like it's such a grind, because you're spending just as much time off the pitch worrying about it than what's happening on the pitch. The reason I say all this is I know a few friends of mine that have thought FIFA 19 is terrible, so they jumped over to PES 19 this year, played the game mode, enjoyed it as much as they could, and they said the moment I didn't have much GP and I looked at 3 or 4 of my players needing contracts, I thought, okay, if I play enough to get their contracts sorted, how am I going to sign players? So they were constantly thinking, I'm just not going to be able to enjoy developing a team. So that's why I say this game needs to be a lot less grindy. What do? They rather stick to that piece of shit FIFA 19, because if you played that game, you'd understand why I say it's a piece of shit. But yeah, the game modes there are a lot less stressful. That's why people are playing that game, not because the gameplay is great. Also, before people get in the comment section saying that this game's online services need to improve, like the connections and the lag cheating needs to be fixed properly, yes, we all know that's an issue, and that is something I'm not going to dive deep into here, because that has been said over the years, and we know that Konami are, I say, already looking into it, but they know it's a problem that needs looking into. So moving on to the second issue, and I don't think there's a single soul in the PES community that could argue with this, but the amount of content, or the lack of content, is ridiculous. So let's look into this week's content, shall we say. So we go into the online challenge, and all we have is literally one online challenge, which is a win streak challenge. So you win 3 matches in a row and you get 2 agents for this week, which is a great reward, to be fair. And the thing is, you do that once, that's it. That's that challenge done for the week. There's nothing else in this category. These 2 challenges here are there all through the year, and these are basically done right at the start of the year. So this is for people that just pick up this game and think, right, we can get an easy black ball, fair play economy, great idea, keep that in there. And same for the, just play these first 5 matches and you get 50,000 GP. So another great idea. But that's just not enough. You can't just chuck that in at the start of the year and then say, that's it, we've done our part. No, there needs to be more content throughout the week. So every weekend, FIFA have something called Weekend League. This is our, say, counter to that is myClub Open. And this is only available on Saturdays. And it's I think it's around 8 and 9 o'clock, so you only have 2 options for it. The other ones are simulation modes or coach modes, as you say. So we don't actually get to play it, we just watch our players play. So let's just say we only have 2 options, which are 2 hours apart. And in that, all we do is, and this is the ridiculous thing about it, it's only open for 1,000 people. So it's first come, first serve, which is, again, it's not great. So you can see here, lads, the way it works is you play 3 matches over an hour, and if you in the top 16 you go into the knockout stage. Again, I don't mind the concept of it, but the lack of opportunity to play this game mode is ridiculous. Again, it doesn't even reward that highly either. That is something I'm going to also talk about. Well, the rewards sections I will talk about. I'll keep that separate from here. But again, lads, it just isn't enough to do this on a Saturday only. Before, it used to be, last year, it used to be on a Saturday and Sunday. I think the year before, it used to be Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday. People were asking for more content, and somehow they've managed to release it every year less and less. It just doesn't make sense. We also have an offline challenge, which is done exactly like the online challenge, so it updates once a week, and you have 2 starting objectives that stay there throughout the year. Again, that just isn't enough. There's so many different ways you can keep this game fresh on a weekly basis. So as you saw already, there was an online challenge, win 3 matches in a row, get 2 special agents. Great, keep them ideas coming. But next to it, do another online challenge where you can only enter that challenge if you use a 3-star team. And next to that one, keep another one going where it's like you can only enter that one if you have a squad filled with silver ball players only. And then the next week, change that challenge to a bronze ball challenge only, or black ball challenge only, stuff like that. And again, you could do another one where it's like, you can only enter this tournament if you have a squad filled with Premier League players. Then next week change that to La Liga players. Then the following week change it to Italian league players and all these other leagues you got. So again, it gives us a different way to not just play the game, but also build squads. So that's, it just keeps you thinking, what can they do next week? And again, the rewards have to pay out nicely. I'm not saying give us stupid rewards like give us 200,000 GP for each challenge we do, but enough to make us think it's worth actually doing. Here's another one straight out of the FIFA pagebook. Why don't they do weekly objectives where we can also earn either player spins or contract renewal tickets, things like that? Just any other reward. It could be GP, but I remember doing one not too long ago where it said assist using a La Liga player 15 times in that week, and I would get a team of the season La Liga player. I'm not saying our rewards have to pay out that heavy, but you understand the concept of, set out targets, and again, it gives us another way of playing or, selecting our teams. So again, there could be a list of weekly objectives, and if you don't do them in that week, bye-bye, they're gone. If you do them, you get that reward. Simple as that. Another aspect of weekly content is the ranked matches, and for me, the more you play it, the more you actually get punished. So the less you play it, the more GP you earn. All you gotta do is get lucky who you play against. So if someone else has 500 weekly points and you beat him, you get 250 weekly points, where you could play 10 matches, all them people have very little ranked points, and you could end up on, after 10 matches, 100 points, where I've played 1 match and nicked 250. So it's a bit inconsistent there, and the weekly payouts aren't high enough if you play this game a lot. I prefer the old system where you have the divisions, and if you play 10 matches, or even if you get promoted in 6, you get your reward, you go on to the next one. It's just the rewards there were awful. It was just a contract renewal ticket. Again, they need to pay out better there, so it keeps you motivated for more spins and just, not worrying about having to pay a bunch of contracts. And now moving on to myClub Co-op, this is almost criminal what they've done with this mode. Such a good, enjoyable experience, but it has no content. It literally has every now and again a myClub Co-op challenge, but you have divisions in there, but you get no payout for it. And it's just like, why even play it other than literally trying to enjoy a little bit of fun with your friends? So again, they need to give some more competitive element to the myClub Co-op. So moving on to what I felt is one of the biggest parts in why I felt PES was, I wouldn't say dead, but had a lack of buzz around November, December, and that is the amount of ease it is to build a team filled with 90 plus rated players. Players that you would think would never reach 90 rated anyway, but my point is, it was just so easy to get them, and it felt like there was nothing else to do. And that there, lads, look, bear in mind, this is the PES I've played the least, spent the least money in, and quite frankly enjoyed the least. But I've already got 35 players without even trying that are 90 plus rated. And if you go further down, I could get to at least 60 players that are 90 plus without even trying. And that's pretty criminal. It's like, I haven't even had to work for this team, and it just takes away the enjoyment of building this team, the buzz of trying to get better players as the years go on, or not the years, sorry, as the weeks go on. And it's just like, what's there to play for? By November, I had such a stacked team, and I'm like, yeah, okay, like, what's there to do now? Okay. And with the lack of content, you could also think, what's there to actually play with this team? That's it, there's nothing for me to do. So yeah, that's one of the biggest issues for me. They really need to tone down the featured players. I'm not saying get rid of them, but put them at a realistic level. And for me, I think what they should do is, as you can see this week here, we have player of the seasons. What they should do is give us one guaranteed team of the season player, and then use the rest of the ones into the collector's box. So then we got a chance of getting them using GP, not just using coins, but we've got a continuous chance of getting these players. So it's not just 3 spins and you get what you got, that's it. You're lucky or you're unlucky. If you have enough GP, you can spin for them again. Or if you're that desperate for a certain player, you can then buy more coins and keep going through the collector's box. And that's it. You can keep going through them like that. Doing it where you get 3 guaranteed players every week will kill the game. It really will. It did kill the game. So I would rather they do it where it's like FIFA style, where you can keep just going for them, and people are like, why would you do that? Because it's so hard. Well, no, it wouldn't be hard if Konami balanced out the GP. Now we're actually going into the next issue, which is, how hard it is to get GP. Because, let me show you an example. Now, if you look at someone like Messi, I think his contract renewal ticket, let's just see, contract renewal is 4,000 GP. Now, if I win a match with this squad, I get about 6,500 GP. That's winning. If I lose, I only get 2,000. So the grind for GP is ridiculous as well. So if Konami balanced it out better, so say I won with this squad, I get 9,000, 10,000 GP, and that would just about be good for this squad, because he's 4,000 GP, Mbappe is close to 4. Look, he's 4,000 also. 2 players there is 8,000 GP. So if I get 10,000 for a win, I don't really have to be worrying about contract GPs, and if I lose, get about 4,000, stuff like that. Because if you give GP out easily, Konami, people will not be bothered as much when they lose, because they don't feel the pressure of the grind. And if they win a lot, all they'll do is spend it on players, or spend it in the scout house you got, which I think is terrible, because getting all the players at level 1 then leveling them up is such a hassle. But again, if you have a scout house and you get players at level 1 and you put in them items which I said that you can buy trainers and stuff like that, then maybe it isn't such a bad idea. So again, a lot of this can get fixed if they just give a lot more GP out in their payouts for just playing the game. That's it. I'm not saying give us GP for not playing. I'm saying if you give us better GP in these competition rewards and just playing on a match basis, then a lot of these grinds won't feel like a grind. So if you go by that concept where there's only 1 guaranteed special agent a week in someone's team, it will take a lot longer to build these special teams, which will drag out the life of the game, which is what I want. I want there to be that sort of, give me a reason to play going into May, June, July. And also, it allows Konami, and I know Konami's a business, it allows them to make more money if people are under the impression that they can get more special players by doing as many spins as they can in this one, rather than just 3 a week. So from a business point of view, it works well for Konami. And for us, if I don't like the players that week, I won't do it. If I see a Mane in there, I might think, yo, I'm going to spend £200 to get him. But if I see someone else in there, like, Phil Jones in there, I'm not going to spend a penny, forget that. So you get my point, lads. It works for Konami, it works for us. And a lot of it also works if they just give us better payouts in the GP. I love the concept of training players. So whether it's through experience, giving them skill trainers, or even adding positions to them, love the concept of it, especially these two. But the experienced ones, I don't like, because of just how OP some of these players become. So if they have a more realistic, level cap, or just balancing of players, so, instead of giving players 92 cards to start with and then letting them go up to 99 rated, how about they either give them a 92 to start with and then bring down the player level, so, it just keeps the game in balance. So again, brilliant concept. They just need to get the balance done properly. Having that myClub items shop would also make, training players and getting that more individuality into that player a lot easier. A quick word about the managers. I'm not a big fan of managers in this game because managing is not just done at the start of the match. So you don't pick a formation or two formations and that's it. No. Managing is about dealing with the obstacle right in front of you. So if a team goes all out defensive on you and they've got a 1-goal lead, as a manager you're like, right, we've got to overcommit in certain areas, we've got to play a different style, we've got to do different things, and that options you do not have when you're playing myClub. You do not have the freedom to do what it takes, what you think it takes to win that match. You're stuck with the managers that you picked at the start of that match, and it just doesn't feel right to me with that. So I feel like they for me, I feel like they need to scrap the rigidity of, is that even a word? Rigidity? The rigidness of a manager. They need to scrap that rigidness away and just allow us to have a bit more freedom on the pitch. So I'm not going to go too deep into that. Again, with the trade players, lads, I'm not a fan of, get 3 players of the same and just trade them for anyone you want. I'm not a fan of that. I feel like if you don't want to give us a way to trade between actual players, then do what you did with Master League Online. Have a valuation of that player. Let us release them for that player. So how it worked in Master League Online was if a lot of people decided to sign that player. So I remember I had Neymar in, I think, PES 2011. I got him really, really early. And the more people that signed him, I think I've signed him for like 11 million. And when I decided to release him, he was worth about 30 million. So I made like 20 million on him there, something like that. And, you could do that sort of same system here. So the more people that are releasing that player, his value drops. The more people that are not releasing that player, his value rises. And so it's about balancing when to release certain players. And, you can release players that you just don't want. So I understand that as well. But again, it's just like it rewards us. Not rewards us, but it gives us a better payout on better players, shall we say. That's it, something like that. The one thing I'd love to see back is the ball animation roll for when we sign players. This one, it felt great when we first did it. It flew into the league or the country and then it goes into the stadium or whatever. And, you see the player, the kit he's in. You already know who the player is most of the time before you actually see him. So it starts to take away the suspense, especially for the team of the week pulls. Like, you got one Premier League player in there, you got a La Liga player in there. So once it goes into England, you know who you got. There's no suspense. But in the previous PES, you had the ball roll. It landed on a goal. You're like, oh, which goal could this be? Or which black could it be? I was about to say gold. Why would I pick gold? Who cares about gold ball players? But yeah, if it's a black ball player, you're like, oh, who could this be? And it be in your kit, where now it'd be in the actual, if I signed Pogba, although I'm a Liverpool kit in here, it'd show him in a Manchester United kit. And it's like, I already know who it is way before we should do. And it takes away the suspense there. So I prefer the ball roll animation. And I hope that's something that Konami, I don't see them changing that, to be honest, but it's something I prefer. I think they still do that on the mobile, and I find the mobile agent openings better than the console one. So yeah, I think in terms of suspense, I just like to have PES 18 agent openings back rather than this one. One last thing before I go, and that's these myClub records. These are like an insult, like a little slap to the face. So for example, look, I haven't played 10 casual matches in myClub co-op yet, but if you do that, all you get is 5 stamina renewals, which it doesn't feel like it's helpful. These don't feel like helpful rewards for what you have to go through. So look, if I renew player contracts 500 times, my reward, 1 contract renewal ticket. Again, it's like, it doesn't feel like a pick-me-up item. It doesn't. It just feels like it's a little like, okay, you've done this here, take this little side thing, that's it. You can't say we're not giving you anything. It feels like that. If you're going to do these myClub records and give us rewards for it, then make them proper rewards. Like hiring 10 managers. Hiring 10 managers and you get 1 familiarity boost. That would take someone's team spirit up by like 2. But you've got 5 or 10 new managers and you're only getting like 1 or 2 familiarity boosts. Like, you don't get 1 contract renewal ticket for 500. So when you do this mode first, you get 1 after doing it the first time, then you get 1 for doing it after 10, then 1 for doing it after I think 50, then 1 after 100, then 200. But again, 1 after every so often, it starts to become a slap in the face, or just a little like, here, take this, that's it. It doesn't feel like a big reward. Like we get a lot of items here, stuff like this, but again, I would never say that this has ever come good to me like that. It never felt like it's come good to me. So yeah guys, I want to see if you're gonna do this, give us some like actual like, oh yes, you know, I'm close to 500, you know, renewing 500 contracts. That's it. Oh my god, I'm going to get like 20 tickets. That's going to be so helpful. Getting 20 tickets in one go would actually feel helpful, but getting one would feel like it's nothing. So yeah guys, I hope you did enjoy this video. Let me know what you think you need to see from PES in terms of what I just mentioned, not the gameplay side and stuff like that, just from the actual mode itself, what would help enjoy your experience. Let me know what you'd like to see or what you think should happen going forward, and yeah, just put them in the comment section. I'm looking forward to reading them, and if you did like this video lads, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more, remember to subscribe. Until then, peace!